crafters, welcome to an interactive mini album tutorial. I'm Charee Filimoehala here at the G45 office, and in this video tutorial you are going to learn how to take an album and turn it into an interactive masterpiece. So let me just open this up to give you a sneak peek into what we'll be creating. We are going to be making some interactive gatefolds as well as some top fold photo mats. You can see that there's a lot of opportunities in this album for you to add your own personal photos and sentiments, making this an excellent keepsake for years to come. This is a part of our Club G45 series. This is volume 4 that has been created by the Queen of Elegance, Robin Shakur. To go along with this, we also have another video tutorial you're going to want to be sure to do. It's this twist and fold pop-up card. So 2 super cute tutorials, and you of course want to go ahead and join Club G45, and you can find all the details in the description below. It's simple and easy, so go ahead and do that, and let's get started. So just taking a tour of the album. When words fail, music speaks. It's got this beautiful May Arts ribbon closure. Any coordinating ribbon would look great. My darling. A super cute little gatefold here. Photo mat. Got a tag with beautiful paper on both sides, and our matte pearl gems, of course. Another photo mat with a belly band here. So this album is elegant, it's simple, but breathtaking. Slide in some of those ephemera cards, and then you've got a top loading photo mat, and then it all starts to repeat. So this is what you're gonna need to recreate this interactive album. It's also what our Club G45 members will be getting in their packages. You can see a lot of fun goodies. These pre-made albums are perfect for all your scrapbooking needs because we've already done the hard part for you by creating the album. All you have to do is add your own papers and personal touches to make those come to life. Of course, you're gonna need your scrapbook adhesives, black foam squares. Those come in 2 different sizes. We're also going to be using our brand new matte pearl gems. There's 144 of these delightful flat back pearls. Those are matte too, so you gotta love that. And then we're going to be using our Love Notes collections, and our the big highlight of the album are these ephemera cards. You get 32 pieces in that pack. Those are double-sided and absolutely delightful and easy to work with. Printable project sheet. So if you're not a Club G45 member, you can always print this out so you can follow along with whatever graphic 45 or scrapbook papers you have at home. But this does come with your club kit that you can order off of G45papers.com, so you can see step-by-step photo directions. Love those. And then we're going to be using our 12x12 Love Notes patterns and solids. Step 1, you are going to want to locate your instructions. And so if that means you're a Club G45 member, just grab it out of your box. If not, there is a printable project sheet in the link below. So for step 1, we've got that out, and now we are going to start creating the inside cover of our album. So we are going to take and cut 2 pieces of this beautiful red stripe paper from the patterns and solids, and we are going to cut this to be 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, and we want our stripes to be going along vertically. The photo mats really add some extra dimension, so we are going to cut 2 of these down to 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then we are going to grab 2 of our 4x6 ephemera cards. The ones that we are using are My Darling and The Violin. You can see those here. And then just some extra fun steps if you want to take your album to the next level. You can't always ink your edges, so by doing that, we would just advise grabbing an ink that goes along with the collection. So your G45 does have our own line of inks with clear snap called our Decades ink, and I'm just using our Triumphant Red. So you can see by adding just a little bit of ink to the edges, it does give it a nice finished look. But you can go ahead and leave this step off if you like it a little more simple and you want to get it done a little bit quicker. So I'm just showing you how to do that with this step, but I will not be inking the rest of my papers. So you can just see the difference between the two. Yeah. It looks great either way. Another fun tip, when you're using those paper trimmers, the blade can start to get a little bit dull, or when you're cutting things like cardstock, sometimes you get these jagged edges. And if you just take a nail file or some sandpaper, you can just sand off those and make it nice and smooth. So just wanted to show you those fun tips. But after you've prepped your pieces, you can go ahead and take your corner rounder, and we are going to round our corners of our black photo mats. So when I'm using a corner rounder like this, I do like to flip it upside down so I can see, make sure that my tip is right where it's supposed to be, so it just snips off perfectly. Now that we're all rounded up, I'm going to take my foam adhesive squares, and I'm going to mat these ephemera cards on my black cardstock that we have already rounded. So just making sure that everything fits before we start adhering. You'll just take the larger of the two sizes and just start adhering those down like so. You just want to make sure that they're nice and pressed onto your surface before taking off that layer of polka dot layer of protected goodness. And so once you've got it all ready to go, let's go ahead and mat this right in the center. Like so. You can see there's some nice dimension there now, and easy peasy. We'll do the same with my darling ephemera card as well, and then these will just go adhere right onto our stripe. Now, because I already added my foam adhesive on there, I'm going to use some double-sided tape to adhere these onto our stripes. You know, if I tried to use liquid adhesive at this spot, it would be hard to make sure that you get out any of those air bubbles. So there could be some warping going on, and we don't want that. Now we'll put these to the side and start our front cover. So for the front cover, you're going to cut a piece from the black cardstock that's going to be 6 by 8 inches. On top of that, we are going to place a red instrument paper, and that's going to be 5 3/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches. And then we will also cut out another strip from black cardstock that's going to be 2 1/4 by 8 inches, and then 2 by 8. And then last but not least, we're going to cut out another black piece, and this is going to be 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And then we're going to take from our ephemera package, Where Words Fail, Music Speaks. And we are going to just mat all of these onto their coordinating pieces. So now I'm going to add my black stripes onto my red cover piece. that has been matted, and I want this to be about showing about an inch of that red. So just sliding this a bit over so I have about an inch showing. And then my black cardstock should be flush with the top and bottom. So taking that brayer and just going up, making sure it gets out any air pockets. And then I always like to have a damp paper towel to just clean off any adhesive. So now I'm gonna take my sentiment, and this is going to be popped up with some foam adhesive, and I'm doing it this way. In the instructions it lists to do the black cardstock mat flat onto our red, and then to pop up the ephemera card, but I like it this way because it's going to be a little more sturdy. Add a little more stability to that popped up layer. So just using those large black foam adhesives, I've got all the backs off, and now I can just find the center. There we go. Next, we are going to do a bit of fussy cutting to add some interest and some more dimension to our front cover. So I'm going to fussy cut out this horn here. You can see it was found on that bottom of the page. And then from our red instrument page, from the bottom, there's this cute cello, and we'll just cut around there. So if you just want to do some easy, simple cuts to get those out, then taking your fine tip scissors, we are going to just follow the lines. So of course, all you G45ers out there who love fussy cutting, you can go ahead and cut out as many elements as you want to add to your album, add inside your pages and into your photo mats. But I know not everybody loves fussy cutting, so we have really just keeping it down to the basics to show you how nice it is to be able to pull apart some of these elements, especially when you're using up your scraps. Once you're all done putting together your gorgeous albums, then you can just go back through your scrap piles, cut apart some embellishments, use some foam adhesive, ink those edges, and voila. So you want to use the smaller pieces of paper so you don't have to manhandle a giant piece of paper. And then also the fine tip scissors or an X-Acto knife are great. And then knowing that once you start layering things, all those imperfections don't show like you think they might when you're cutting. So you can get as fussy or keep it as simple as you want. And then of course it's always nice to ink up those edges to hide any imperfections. You know, with those shabby chic projects, it's always fun to add a little bit of white paint to the edges. It just makes all those layers pop. Easy and beautiful. Now that we've fussy cut out our pieces, we are gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this off on a flat bottom, just a bit of a diagonal so you can see it will eventually fit nicely with our cello. But just to make sure that these really pop, we are going to add them onto some of that cardstock and then fussy cut those out again. So just adhere these down and we'll cut again. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of liquid adhesive to this side as I slowly put my piece where I want it to go. I'm thinking that looks pretty good like that. So now I'm just going to see how I think it looks on our cover. Maybe get them a little bit closer together. And then once we have done that, I'm gonna add some of our smaller black foam adhesives to the back. So now the foam adhesive has been applied to the back of both of the pieces, and I'm just going to pop it down on the bottom, making sure that my sentiment is still intact. The last thing we want to do to our cover is add some pearl gems. I'm going to be using the silver like we have in our photos. So there are 144 of these pieces, and there's 3 different sizes. So I'm going to use all 3 sizes, and I'm going to start on this bottom left-hand side with a big pearl, and then I'm just going to use a medium size, just about 1/4 of an inch away from that one, and then a small little cutie like so. My larger one here, and then just working smaller as I get further out like so. How cute is that? Once you get those pearl gems where you want them to be placed, you can go ahead and put this to the side. Step 2, signature page covers. So we've cut 3 pieces from the red typography and 3 from the black typography, and these have been cut to 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and all 6 of those are the same. And you can see, just depending on you, if you want to take it up a notch, you want to take it to that next level, you can't always round those corners and ink those edges. You can see the difference here. Step 3, the pocket covers. We're going to cut 12 5 by 1/4 by 2 by 3/4 of this red floral paper. It's got the ivory on one side. And then we are going to cut 12 of these black papers with the stripes, and we want our stripes to be vertical, and these are going to be 5 1/4 by 1 inch. And then once you have those cut, we are going to be putting these together. So nice and simple. I've just added some double-sided adhesive on the back of one of these, and it's going to be flush with the top. And there you go, all 12 have been adhered down, and we'll put these aside. Step 4, we are going to cut 6 strips by 9 by 4 inches. And with all of those 6 strips, we are going to score it from the left-hand side 2 1/4, and then again at 6 3/4. We'll do that with all 6, and then with your bone folder, you'll just go ahead and fold those flaps in. And our gatefold element is starting to come together. I'm gonna cut 12 of these vertical black floral pieces, and we want them to be 2 by 3 1/4. And then we will do the same with these horizontal black stripes, and those will also be 2 by 3 1/4. Following, you will cut 6 pieces to be 4 1/4 by 3 3/4 of the red instrument. Now that we have those pieces cut, I've added some double-sided adhesive to the back side of this, and on the inside of our gatefold, I am going to put down my red instrument, making sure everything is right side up, and then nice and center in. So I should have a good 1/8 of an inch border or so of that black cardstock showing through. And we're going to be doing 2 different designs. The first one I'm going to show you is going to be with our floral black on the inside of our gatefold. So just taking off my double-sided adhesive, and then I'm going to find my center on the panel and go ahead and burnish that down. And then I'll do the same on the other panel. So I'm thinking this album would be such a great album for anyone who plays music, anyone who loves music. Also would be great for weddings, anniversaries. You know, so many great ways to use this or give it away as a gift. I know a lot of people, when they really love a project like this one, they want to create two so they can give one away and then keep one for themselves. And I think this is gonna be one of those projects for sure. So now on the outside, I'm adding my stripes. So we are gonna do it half of them. So 3 of our 6 gatefolds will be this combination. Floral on the inside, stripe on the outside. And then the other half will be floral on the outside with stripe on the inside. Next, cut 6 black 2" by 2" squares, and then 6 from the red instrument paper of the 1 by 3/4" squares. And then we will go ahead and adhere these down. So now I've adhered some double-sided adhesive on the back of the right-hand side. So I want to make sure that everything is right side up. So when I have it right side up, then I flip it over and then you add the adhesive onto the left-hand side. That will ensure that it's in the right place. It's nice to use the double-sided adhesive for this step as well, so it doesn't have any leakage over onto the other side, because you want to make sure that once you adhere this down on your right-hand side, that everything will still pop open. So it looks nice and complete this way, but it will pop open for that gatefold effect. So we'll just go ahead and do the same with all 6 of our gatefold pieces that we are creating. So just once you peel off that double-sided adhesive, find the center of your gatefold and burnish it down. All right, the last step of our gatefold elements is to create a little tie closure. So this will keep it shut once it's in your book. So we are just tying around 18 inches of any coordinating twine or ribbon. And this is just going to keep them shut for now, like so. And then once we glue these into our books, they'll stay nice in place. Step 5, we are going to create some top fold cards. So you're going to cut 6 3 1/4 by 8 1/2 vertical strips from the black cardstock, and then we are just going to simply fold these in half, hamburger style, if you will. So just go ahead and take your bone folder and crease those. Once you've folded all 6 of those, we are going to round those corners, because we're going to top these with our beautiful ephemera and journaling cards. Those have the nice rounded edges, so it's kind of nice to mimic that just to keep it nice and cohesive. Next, we are going to cut 6 from the red typography by 3 by 4, and then 6 of the black typography of 3 by 4. And because we've got those rounded edges going, we are just going to go ahead and continue to round all 4 of those corners of all of our cut pieces. Once you've rounded all those corners, just flip open those top fold black cards that you've made, and we're just going to adhere 3 of those with the black and then 3 with the red. And then taking your ephemera cards, these are the 3 by 4 ephemera cards. I'm gonna grab the valve horn, and I put that just on the top of my black insides. And then taking the red saxophone ephemera card, I will adhere that onto the front of one of my red top fold cards. And then the other ones we'll be using are this gorgeous one with the 3 postage stamps, this journaling side with the roses on one side. You can see it's postage on the other. Dearest with the roses. And then this journaling side as well with the back side of the saxophone. Step 6, the side pocket photo mats. There are 6 side loading photo mats, and we're going to cut 2 each of 5 by 7 of the black instrument, the red stripe, and the black floral, and then we're going to round all those corners out. And I found that with my corner rounder, I can do 2 papers at a time, which makes all this corner rounding go by a lot faster. So you may want to experiment with yours as well on a scrap piece of paper to see if yours can handle 2 layers of paper at the same time, just to keep things going smoothly and quickly. So next we want to cut 6 strips that are going to be 2 inches by 1.5 inches. And if you're following along on the project sheet, you'll notice it says 3 inches by 1.5, but that measurement is wrong. So please note to fix that, and we are just going to trim them down so they're 2 inches by 1.5. And then go ahead and fold those in half on the 2-inch side. So you'll fold all 6 of those just nice in half on the longer side, and then taking our beloved corner rounder, Mr. Corner Rounder, we are gonna just trim, or round rather, all 4 of those corners on all 6. So then we are gonna add a little bit of liquid adhesive in these, and we are creating our little file folder notches. So these are gonna be great to pull out from our side loading pockets. So I want this to be about halfway. So just adhering my first one, it's gonna be top heavy. So I've got it just about, what do you say, 1/4 inch from the top. And then I'm gonna slowly start working it down. So my next one, I'm gonna add some adhesive onto my next one, which is going to be just about 1/4 inch or so overlapping with that one. Now I can pick that up and adhere it onto my page, and then I will just continue to do that. So lining up these pages, I'm going to add some more liquid adhesive to my next tab. And then just working my way down. Gonna overlap this about 1/4 inch. But again, it's just halfway onto the page and halfway off. So there's something good and sturdy to grab onto when you're pulling these out of those tag and pocket albums. And then we'll just make our way down. So you can see we are gonna focus every other page. It's gonna be one of the decorative sides and then one of the solid sides, which all of our graphic 45 paper collections do have a 12 by 12 patterns and solids, like what we're working with today. And these are so great because they stretch your paper collection, and they're great for all those photo mats. And then when you have something like our ephemera cards, the ephemera cards do all the heavy lifting, and then this patterns and solids just really bring it all together. And with this project in particular, it is just so elegant. So we're on to our 5th photo mat. And then we've got our last one. And then these are just gonna load into, let me do a little better job putting on that adhesive, but these will just add into our album after we're all complete. But so that is the first step of these. So grab that red stripe paper and we are gonna cut 6 strips to be 5 by 1 inch. And these are gonna be belly bands. So we are just putting some nice adhesive on the right side and the left side, keeping the top and bottom unadhered. And then we are going to put these all on the front of our pullouts, and they're all gonna be about 1 inch from the bottom. And now we get to take these beautiful matte pearl gems, and we're using the large black ones. And these are just gonna go in the center towards the edge of the front of our pullout. And then on the back side, as you can see with our sample, we're doing a large gold one on the back. And you gotta love these matte gems. And that is just gonna create a really nice little pullout. You can see one on the front and one on the back. So we will do the same to all 6 on the front and back. The front and the back. Step 7, we are gonna create some photo mats, and this is nice and simple, cut to 4 by 6, and we need 6 of those. Step 8, you are gonna open up your black tag and pocket album and pull out all 6 of these tags. Step 8, we're gonna take some of those 3x4 ephemeras and adhere those on. So love notes, music is the silence between the notes, the saxophone, this beautiful postage stamp for you, and every thine, every mine, ever ours. Ever thine, ever mine, ever ours. Cut 6 3.5 by 4.5 pieces, 2 from the black typography, 2 from the red instruments, and 2 from the stripes. Now leaving your tags in the same order, I flipped them over and I've just adhered these down. And of course we want to add some extra embellishments, so taking some more of that coordinating twine or ribbon that you want to use, we have just cut this down to about 10 inches, and we're gonna just simply tie this in a bow. But of course, if you're using like a thicker ribbon, you could just tie it in a knot and use, you know, maybe 6 inches or so of ribbon. And then taking some of our pearl gems, we are just gonna do some fun different techniques with these. So just some fun ideas is starting with a silver large one in the middle and then taking a medium one and going one on each side. And I'm just gonna roughly place them where I want them to go, and then I will here apply some pressure to get those to stick after I have them in. And of course, if you know this is going to be getting a lot of love and wear and tear throughout the years, you can always add an extra drop of some wet adhesive to the backs of these pearls, just to ensure that they will stay in place for a lifetime of enjoyment. And how cute are these now? So we've got the silver, our gold, some more gold, just 3 medium ones. I love the simplicity of this one with the saxophone. I don't know, they just add so much pizzazz. Love it. Step 9, we get to do the fun part, which is building the album. So we put everything together. Now we are just adding it to where we want it to go. So easy peasy stuff. We're taking our inside front cover that we created at the beginning and adding our My Darling there. This is a great place to add a dedication to your album, set the tone. And then we are gonna take one of these large typography papers we cut the very beginning, and this is just gonna go on our first page in the album. So just wanna take my bone folder to make sure I'm getting out any air bubbles, air pockets, and get that down. And then we're gonna take one of these super cute gatefolds that we created, and then just making sure that I have adhesive going where I want it to go. We are going to add this just right centered in our album. And I want to make sure that my twine is centered as well. And here we go. We are just using our bone folder to get that nice and down. And now we're just going to adhere down. We've opened that up, and I skipped the second page and moved on to the third page out of excitement. But you can see this just goes nicely on these pocket pages that have already been created for you. So just love that extra little touch with that stripe on the top, just adding some flavor. And then this photo mat, it's just gonna go right in the center, and you can see that there is some space on either side, but that would be a great place to add maybe the date of the photo that you take, or maybe just a tiny little sentiment with a white gel pen or some stickers. And then we're gonna grab our saxophone tag, and that slides into our first pocket. Step 11 on this back pocket, I'm gonna add another one of our pre-assembled red floral with the black stripes onto our pocket. And then we're gonna slip in just some ephemeras just as is. Great for photos, great for sentiments. And I'm just putting the love notes and music can change the world in there. And then one of our top folding photo mats that we created with the Dearest, that is gonna go right square in the center on our opposing page, page 5. Voila. Step 12, page 6. We've just added the Music Speaks ephemera card, the 4x6, and I just adhered it in a U shape, so if I want to tuck something in here, I can. And then we've taken one of our large typography cuts that we did from the beginning and adhered that down, and it adhered a stripe front card on the front. And at this point, everything's just gonna repeat itself, which is the awesome part of this album. So now that you have learned how to create that much, I can just show you how your next pages are gonna go in a nice, easy way. So we have glued down this ephemera, we have our gatefold, and then next we are gonna take one of those 4x6 photo mats, and instead of using the black instrument side, we are just going to adhere down the ivory side, and then adhere your pocket down again. And this is where your love notes tag slides in. And on the reverse, just pop on that pocket. And then in here, we're gonna do Music is the Silence Between the Notes ephemera. And then this super cute little floral 3x4, Ever Thine, Ever Mine, Ever Ours goes in there. And then adhere down your saxophone, top folding photo mat. And then nice and simple, another 4x6 ephemera, this one at the postcard side, the journaling side up. And then we're, back at it with our first gatefold with the black and the black floral and the black instruments, our stripe and floral pocket. Super cute postage stamp tag. And then on the reverse side of this pocket, we have 2 4x6 ephemeras. And you know, you can always just leave the ephemeras out until you start putting in your photos and building your album. And then just, you know, where they need to be is great. And then you can see with all those extra pearls, gems, you can also add these onto our top folding photo mats. So then we're going to do another 4x6 ephemera down here, the red typography, the stripes. You know, it's such a nice cohesive look, but because of the interactive details, it just adds some extra pizzazz and fun. Love Notes 4x6 ephemera goes in this beauty. And then here, I love these pages on our ephemera cards. It's just a list page. So if you are into bullet journaling or other things, maybe this is a romantic album that you're a wedding album, they could write, you know, just a list of important dates or a list of things they love about each other. And then on one of these gatefolds, I mean, I think that you are gonna love these for years to come. This tag goes in here, and then our 4x6 ephemeras slide back there. I love these gems. My Darling ephemera goes here, and it's our last gatefold, which goes on our last signature. Our last cream photo mat tag tucks in there. And then on the last page, we've got a cute little 3x4 for you, which you could always write who created this on the back. And then those other fun side loading photo mats, they just go on the sides. So 1 per signature. You just want to start with your tabs at the top, and then just loading, going from the top to the bottom. And you can see those look absolutely amazing in our album. And this album is nice and stuffed. So once you have your pages going, now we can go ahead and put our cover together. So I showed you all the pages done up on the other album, but I just want to put in on mine, my back cover. That's the violin that we created in one of our first steps. And now we can start on our front cover. So I've got 36 inches of ribbon here, and I'm gonna, you know, I like a nice sturdy ribbon for this job since it's going to be untied and tied so many times. So I just want to find my center, and then once you do that, we're going to go ahead and adhere onto the front cover. I leave my spine left alone. That way when you're moving it open and shut, it has room to wiggle. And I like to use dry adhesive for adhering ribbon onto my cover. That way the liquid can kind of get a little lumpy under there. So I'm just going to add a bit of adhesive to my front and take that off. And remember, I have this already half on the front and half in the back. So now I will just flip over my back side and do the same back here. Now we're going to take our cover that we created, add some double-sided adhesive, and then this is just going to go right on our cover. So before you really apply any pressure, I like to square it all up, and like so. Now that it's been squared up, I can take my bone folder and just apply that pressure, getting it nice and burnished onto the front. Looking good. Our back cover, We have cut a 5 3/4 inch by 7 3/4 inch stripe with the stripes going vertical. And this is just going to go nicely in the center. And the last step is to take a little bit of scrap paper or just some ivory paper and then slide that into your label holder. Then you can list, maybe this is your 2019 album, but then just go ahead and tie your ribbon shut and you are all done with your interactive album. So we thank you for being a part of the club or following along with the tutorial. Be sure to share your projects using that Club G45 hashtag. And of course, go ahead and subscribe if you want to have more tutorials like this. And thanks so much. Happy paper crafting.